Hello class, my name is Diego Lopez, and this week's presentation is titled Early Mobilization. Case study. A general contractor created a budget in the amount of $14 million to build a medical office building. The budget was created with only 70% of the design documents. Due to the contractor's team's experience in the approach, the project was awarded. The general contractor was hired to join the owner's project delivery team through a pre-construction services contract valued at $20,000. During the phase, the contractors played a crucial role by providing value engineering, conducting constructability analysis, and offering input to the construction drawings. Now, 2 weeks before the pre-construction phase ended, the general contractor mobilized on the job site, setting up a campsite, bringing in temporary utilities, and conducting the initial survey and layout work. It is important to note that the owner neither directed nor stopped this mobilization. However, at this point, the terms of the agreement had not been finalized. Shortly afterwards, the finalized construction drawings were issued. These drawings incorporated the contractor's input and the city permit comments. Using these documents, the contractor prepared a guaranteed maximum price estimate of $15 million. This figure exceeded the previous budget by $1 million, which led to significant tensions with the owner. Despite the contractor's attempt to explain the reasoning for the increased cost, the owner refused to engage and asked the contractor to vacate the site. The situation escalated when the general contractor requested reimbursement for the additional $15,000 they had incurred for the 2 weeks spent on site. The owner refused payment. This unresolved issue highlights critical lessons about contract finalization, communication, and mutual understanding. Now let's move on. Should the general contractor have mobilized into the site? I believe that the general contractor took a risk by moving without a final contract. Even though the owner did not explicitly stop the contractor, the lack of a formal agreement left the contractor vulnerable. The contractor should have waited until the terms of the contract were final, or at the very least, obtain a written directive to move forward to avoid discrepancies like this. Why would they have been mobilized to the mobile site? Why would they have been mobilized without a contract? The contractor was probably very eager to start working on the project to demonstrate his commitment to the project. They were proactive in keeping the project moving and avoiding delays, assuming that the contract will soon be finalized and not expecting any major changes to occur. Does the general contractor have any recourse for payment? I believe the answer is yes. There was an implied contract when the owner failed to stop the contractor. It was obvious to the owner or the representatives that work at the site had begun. The owner has the right to stop work at any time. They're also responsible for covering any costs incurred by the contractors. Their mobilization was implicitly approved by the owner in action in the ongoing collaboration of the construction. What steps would I suggest for both the owner and the general contractor? For the general contractor, I would suggest to keep a detailed documentation of all the work that was done, invoices, taking photos, and keeping all the correspondence between them and the owner. I would suggest also to try to negotiate with the owner to recover some of the costs in a friendly manner. I don't believe that pursuing legal actions is worth it. I would also ask an attorney to write a demand letter and threat with placing a mechanical lien on the property. This might scare the owner to pay up. If nothing works, I suggest taking the hit. This customer has already shown to be problematic and it's probably better not to work for them. Finally, I would suggest the contractor to write a debt cancellation letter, issuing a Form 1099-C and reporting the forgiven amount to the IRS. By issuing this form, it will inform the owner of the tax implication of the debt forgiveness. Now, to the owner, I would suggest considering paying the contractor for a reasonable cost incurring during maintain that I'm sorry. I would I would suggest the owner to pay the general contractor for any costs that they incur during that initial phase. I believe that it's important to keep a positive relationship and avoiding any potential legal disputes. I would also recommend to establish a clear communication protocol for future projects to prevent similar issues. The final question is if the general contractor had entered into a lump sum contract, would their actions have been different and why? I don't think their actions might have been different. The contract was not finalized, and mobilizing without a contract is very risky. They should have waited for the contract to be finalized to ensure that all the terms, including the price and payment, were agreed on. In conclusion, this scenario highlights the importance of a clear communication, having assigned agreements, and proactive limitation of the risk in a construction project. This is the end for this week. Thank you.